say as an instructor you really want to create, maybe a midterm or something to help your students get even more certification test prep. You have that capability as an instructor. So the instructor will have this little plus sign here at the top of the learning path. I can click on it and click on Add Activity, and then I can go to Inquisitive Assessments. Inquisitive, or we like to call it IQ, is just a software engine that our engineers have built so that way you can build your own quizzes and sprinkle them throughout the learning path. So let me put in the test name here. I'll put Sample Midterm, and I'm going to say no to customizing the test right now because that means I can pull from pre-populated questions that a subject matter expert has already put in here for me. I can decide if I want my midterm test to be from a sampling of chapters or from the main exam domains, or broken down as detailed as the exam objectives, along with the specific instructor question bank. So for those of you who are familiar with our Cognero test bank that belongs to our instructor companion site, we have taken that Cognero test bank and put it in here. So that way it's a one-stop shop for any quizzing needs you might have for your students. So let's go back up here. So since this is a sample midterm, I'm just going to say, hey, I only want questions chosen from these first 3 domains. And you can see as I check off the domains here, the numbers over in the parentheses here correspond to the number of questions that apply. So as I check them off, more questions apply, and I have a pretty big pool of data of questions to pull from right here. So I'm going to scroll down. And just for the sake of time, I'm just going to say 10 questions to be pulled up. And sure, we'll go ahead and have a 30-minute time limit if we'd like. I would like the correct answer shown after each question. That means that the student can just check to see whether or not they got it correct, but they can't go back and alter it. And then I'm going to go ahead and shuffle. Why not? Let this spin up. Okay, so here's the sample midterm I created. I'm going to hit select. I can do a few more things to modify this. I can make this assignment either gradable true or gradable false. So gradable true, all it means is that there is a grade that will get sent to your gradebook. Gradable false means the student will receive a grade, but it's meant to be a practice assignment, and it will let the student know right on the learning path that it's a practice assignment. So that way, if you want them to have some practice tests and then an actual graded test, they can tell the difference. I can change the score, so I only want this to be worth 80 points. I can decide how many times the student is allowed to take it. And I can also decide my score, if I want to have the most recent score, the average, or the best. Let's just say best will be nice. Okay, here's the sample midterm that I have now created. I can decide when I want it to be due. So I'm going to say it's going to be available today, sure, at 1 p.m., fine. And then it's going to be due by the end of the week at 11 p.m. Great, but I can also change the time if I'd like. Where would I like it to be? Well, since it's a midterm, let's see, why don't we stick it maybe before 12, just somewhere randomly in the middle of the learning path. And I'll hit save. It tells me up here in the right-hand corner that the activity was successfully created, and you can see over here this is a brand new plank in the learning path for that quiz that I just made. So if you click on it, this is what the student will see as well. Just a quick sample midterm that I've given to them. They have the timer clicking down here. The read speaker is enabled for the questions, and the student can go through and basically have a nice little sample test for themselves.